Hello, my name is Sophie Collins. I am the Frampton Construction Manager. I want to welcome you to our project and our team. Today we're going to review our safety rules and regulations for this project. If you have any questions at the end of this presentation, please feel free to ask one of our superintendents or your supervisors. If any requirements in your company's safety manual policy is different from Frampton policy, you will then have to comply with whatever requirement is more stringent. Personnel safety at Frampton Construction Workplace is a top priority. These following rules are the minimum standards. These rules do not cover all hazards that personnel may face. Specific hazards may require special attention. If an incident occurs, please report it to your supervisor immediately. This includes cases of incidents, cases of any damage to property, material, or equipment, or other property. This includes other contractors' property and clients. All personnel are required to wear hard hats, safety glasses, and a high visibility vest or a shirt at all times while working on Frampton's projects. No sleeveless shirts, no shorts, no tennis shoes are allowed on a Frampton project. Personnel will not be allowed to work without proper clothing, hard-soled shoes with leather uppers or work boots, regular long pants, and a shirt with 4-inch minimum. If you have a pre-existing condition that could hinder your ability to work in a heavy construction environment, be sure to inform your supervisor immediately. Good housekeeping must be practiced and maintained by all workers on site during all phases of the construction. No glass bottles are allowed in the workplace or anywhere on the project. Before you go home, please clean your work areas. Do not smoke in the office as posted or when refueling. Observe all and obey all safety warning signs. Smoking is only allowed in designated areas. Be alert in case of an emergency. Know your emergency evacuation areas in case of a fire or other emergencies. It is strictly prohibited to tamper with or bypass safety devices in any way. This includes the workplace and warning signs. When you are assigned special safety equipment and personal protective equipment for the site or for a specific task, it must be worn at all times until the task is completed. Forklift operators and crane operators must be trained and carry proper documentation while working on a Frampton project. All heavy equipment operators must be qualified operators. Other than the operator, there is no passengers allowed on the equipment. In an open vehicle, workers are not allowed to ride in the back of a pickup truck. Equipment should be shut off when refueling and lock out or tag off when lubricating or adjusting. This also is a good practice when working with electrical equipment. All ladders must be properly constructed and kept in good repair. Ladders should be the proper length for the job. Step ladders must be in an open position when in use. Extension ladders must be secure and to have access to the higher level and must extend 36 inches or 3 feet above landing. No employee shall be allowed to be exposed to a free fall of more than 6 feet without using any means of fall protection. All employees must follow 1926 Subpart M of fall protection, guardrails, personal fall arrest system. Never remove a guardrail without permission. The top of a guardrail must withstand 200 pounds. These are not guardrail systems and should not be used or practiced on any Frampton projects. Any anchor point must be able to support 5,000 pounds per employee. On the second slide, these are not tie-off points and should never be used. Any floor opening 2 inches or greater must be covered, marked, and secured, or use barricade system to secure hole. All the SDS or safety data sheets are located in the Frampton Construction office. If you have any questions, please ask one of our Frampton superintendents. All containers on the job site must be labeled with the contents and hazards. All scaffold platforms up to 6 feet must be fully planked. All platforms that are 6 feet or higher must have standard guardrails and on all open sites or alternative fall protection. All scaffolds must have exits or egress, ladders or ramps. Scaffold frames are not to be used as substitute use in any circumstances. Do not climb the scaffold frames. Keep platforms and scaffold entrance free of tripping hazards such as tools, materials, and debris. When an excavation or trench is in progress, it must have adequate access and be properly dug, shored, and barricaded. A competent person should inspect the excavation or trench before personnel are allowed to enter the excavation or trench. All workers working in a confined space must be properly trained under the new construction standards. When confined space work is in progress, a competent person must be on site at all times, and only authorized personnel can enter a confined space. Silica is the most common hazard on the workplace, particularly in the construction industry. Silica can cause silicosis, a serious and irreversible lung disease. It also can cause lung cancer. Cutting, breaking, crushing, drilling, grinding, or blasting concrete or stone releases the dust. As workers breathe the dust, the silica settles in their lungs. All workers who work with silica must be properly trained before working with silica and must use the proper tools. All impairment hazards such as reinforced dowels, conduit, dowels, anchor bolts, T-posts must be covered and protected at all times. Compressed gas cylinders must be outright, secure, and capped when not in use. When cylinders are not in use, they must be separated by 20 feet apart or 1/2 hour rating. If you weld or gas cut or anything that could produce sparks, you must have a hot work permit in your work area. The fire watch must remain in the area for a 1/2 hour after the task is completed. All power tools, electrical cords must be kept in good conditions, must always be properly grounded and plugged into a receptacle protected with a ground fault circuit interpreter or GFCI. Only qualified electricians who are trained in safe electrical work procedures can work on the electrical system. Violation of a safety rule is ground for discipline actions, including removal from the site. Frampton Construction uses a 3-step system to enforce the safety rules. This orientation is your first warning. The second warning, the subcontractor will receive a letter of non-compliance. And the third, the employee will be removed from the job site. Thank you for going through the Frampton orientation. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask your supervisor or a Frampton supervisor.